Hi, my name is Jacqueline Anderson and I'm a nurse. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I wanted to talk about the NCLEX RN. So I recently took the NCLEX RN and I'm going to get right into this because I know that a lot of times people don't get right into the video and I can't stand that. So let's get right to it. First off, when you go to take the NCLEX RN, make sure that you go about each question like it's the only question that you're doing. So, for example, after you do the first question, if you feel like you got it wrong, just forget about it. Move on to the next question and do the best you can on each and every question. Do not get hung up on any questions because when I tell you I felt like I got every single one wrong, I did. I felt like I got every single one wrong. So don't let that deter you. Make sure you do the best that you can on each question and never give up. I passed the first time, but it took me 6 hours. So, when you get in there, when you pass 30 questions, 40 questions, 50 questions, 60 questions, and you're up there to past 100, don't feel like you're not doing okay. You're still doing okay. Just keep on going. Trust me with that. The other bit of advice that I could say is from my experience, simple nursing worked for me. Once you do the simple nursing, you have to take a test, and the test will tell you whether or not it thinks that you're going to pass. And once it tells you that you can pass, I would take the NCLEX. The other one that I used was Lecturio, and I watched all those videos. They were fun to watch. I felt like they were very helpful. And Dr. Laws, or Dr. Lawless, however her name is, she was great. And it wasn't very expensive. Neither one of these programs was all that expensive. I spent about a month or so, maybe a little more, however long it took for me to get through those programs before I took the NCLEX. They were fun. I never sat down and did hundreds of questions a day. I didn't do that. I made it fun and enjoyable. I did it when I wanted to do it, whether it was 15 minutes a day or an hour a day or however long I felt like doing. And once Dr. Lawless said that I was ready to go, basically Lecturio has their own questions that they ask. And once you pass that, they say you're ready for the NCLEX. And I felt like that was a telltale for me as to when I was ready. So once I passed that, and I also passed the simple nursing test, I felt like I was ready. I never got the green light from ATI. We didn't have to do that at Excelsior, so I didn't go that route. I felt like those two videos prepared me pretty good. With Lecturio, they get a lot into the bow tie questions and into case studies, and I found that very helpful. I can't emphasize that enough. Time and money that I spent on Lecturio nursing was well worth it, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. Both were fun. Lecturio was fun, and so was Simple Nursing. They were both a lot of fun. So I would encourage that. Also, I bought Saunders. I went through Saunders. I looked through that. I thought it was okay. I mean, I could have done it without it, but I did do that. And I also did one other workbook. It was like I don't know, they Mobile X or something. They also make like a cheese one. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but that one was good too. I liked that. But Lecturio and Simple Nursing, I would say, were my go-to. The other bit of advice that I'm going to go into would just be talking to you about things that I feel. I mean, I can't speak to the test because obviously I can't just say, oh, this is what the test is going to be, because no one can say that. But what I can tell you is there's certain things that I feel would be beneficial to you. And one of those things is just knowing your vital signs. Know what is a good blood pressure, what is a bad blood pressure, know about heart failure, know signs and symptoms of heart failure, know what it means when someone has edema in relation to heart failure. Those types of concepts, understanding those types of concepts is really important. I didn't have math on my NCLEX, and I'm not saying that you wouldn't have math on your NCLEX, but I wouldn't spend an over amount of time studying the math. I mean, you can if you want to, but that just wasn't my take. I would say mostly knowing what you're going to do in certain situations. Like, if you're in the field and you're like in an emergency, which patients are you going to take first? Are you going to take the most amount of people, or are you going to take people who are pretty much on their way out? Like those types of questions. Obviously, you're going to want to get the most amount of people that you can and help them. So like knowing that kind of stuff, knowing like when you're in the hospital, which patients are priority patients. It's not always breathing. If you have someone who's bleeding out and you have someone who's got like an 88% on their pulse ox, you got to be able to think, okay, yes, this person who's, below 90% may need oxygen, but you also need to realize this person who's bleeding out could die right this second. So, thinking that respiratory is always the number one to go to, you need to get rid of that mindset, and you need to, think on your feet and use that critical thinking. It's basic knowledge, but you have to remember that that's how it's going to be. Don't get freaked out when you see the test. Just concentrate on the question that you're on, literally. I looked one time at the test and it freaked me out. After that, I just read it sentence by sentence, question by question, and that's how I worked my way through it. Now, for me, I took a break right away just to use the bathroom because I had to go, and then I never took another break. I just sat there and I did my test. When I left, I didn't feel like I had passed it, and I've heard that from a lot of people. So I did pass, but I also did that good trick, bad trick, and that didn't work for me. So my experience is don't do that good trick, bad trick for Pearson. You're just going to make yourself nervous and more upset. I would just wait for your final results. That is my best advice for you. If you're already an LPN, like I was, don't stress. You know what you need to know going into that test. I feel 100% sure that my knowledge from being an LPN for 14 years, or even if you've only been an LPN for a short time, that knowledge that you have, you can really apply that knowledge, that hands-on knowledge, to passing this next gen NCLEX. So that about wraps it up. But I want to give you the confidence to know that you can pass this NCLEX and that you will. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I will be making some more videos. The content that I'll post will be about nursing, will be about brain injuries, because my older daughter had a brain injury, and I'll be posting about that if you're interested in things of that nature. I might get my other two kids on the channel if they're interested, and I'm going to keep it light. We might do some makeup tutorials or maybe some dieting tutorials, because I know we're all interested in the latest dieting news and